Hello, I'm Mario Vasquez from the University of Ozarks, and this is my second video log for Intro to Human Learning. And I'd like to start off today by introducing who I interacted with, and that's Macy Dale. And we both cooked a entree from our culture. She cooked fry bread for her side, the Native American side, and I cooked ambondigas, which is meatballs, Mexican made, with rice, tomatoes, onions, and egg in them. Kind of weird, but yeah, that's what I made. And I talked to her about like our typical day, and our typical day was kind of similar because we both woke up in the mornings for early morning workouts, being athletes, and we went through our classes and then went to practice in the afternoon, and yeah, and then went home. Most of the time, I would go to another practice after school because of the fact that I just wanted to get better, a little bit extra. Always trying to put a little bit extra, but she and I always went home and ate dinners with our families and went to sleep and repeated it every day for 4 years. And the thing that worried us most about in high school was test grades, and then our sports. Our sports were really a priority, and our grades were a priority to us. And the things that made us happy was good grades, of course. Good grades always kept us in a good, positive motive. And she said that what made her happy was staying involved with church, still being in high school. The FCA services, which was fun to her, and what was fun for me was wrestling was my sport, and making good grades and being able to eat at times, because most of the time when you wrestle, it's complicated to cut weight, and you have to cut back on your food. But the big test that kind of hit us was like the SAT and the ACT practices. I really had no preparation for these tests because none of our teachers really like pushed us to try harder, or like they didn't put us in classes or anything of that matter. But on her side, she kind of put schooling first, and she had ACT practices and kept on going to practices, try to keep on, try to make a really good grade on the test. My preparation was just I really never had any. I would look over the test booklet that they gave us a week, 2 weeks in advance, and I'd skim over and just try the practices. I did do the ACT practice, and I scored highly on that. And then for her, she had classes to go to, and after school programs that helped her with developing skills for this test. When we both shared pics of our high school careers, we noticed that we're both high school athletes, and we liked that. And we both had siblings. Both were really close to our families, and it showed like how similar athletes are in general and how close we are to Christ, which I am close to Christ as well as she is, even though I didn't get as involved as she did, because most of the time my time was took up of my sport, which was wrestling, and it would require a lot of cutting weight for me, and I always did try to go to church on Sundays. The only thing that surprised me was how much we had in common for two very different cultures, and how we're in two different places, but we both had similarities in being athletes and stuff like that. The only thing that I'd say was different was the places. And we're in two different places, two different environments, two different ways, but it all comes back and relates to culture because of the fact that it made us into the culture we are. Being around a more Mexican-based kind of home, and my neighbors were Mexican too, so we'd all have like a really Mexican culture, invite people over to eat our main dishes, and it'd be fun, always interactive. But going from her side, she she really didn't have anybody except for her mom and her grandma, and yeah, they were really kind of isolated by themselves. The last thing I would like to say is that our education remained a priority. Like, even though we had two very different cultures, our main priority was education, and we kept it that way. And our grades and our being student athletes remained a priority to us, and not really anything different from that point, because of the fact that everything that we did was kind of in common and kind of similar to what we did. Thank you.